What is happening, everybody? As promised, this is going to be the first video of a few that are going to show what's going on with my new life. So, I promised a house tour. Let's start the house tour. So what we're going to take a look at is basically what this place used to be and what it was kind of turned into. This is a 50s era cabin on a lake, about 8/10 of an acre I think is what I've got in total here. This is technically the front yard. The road in and out of the place goes right up in there. We may even hear and see a car go by while I'm doing this. Some work to do up there. You can see I got a little excess vegetation. I got a lot of vines, and that's all blackberry and prickers, and I'm going to use one of my toys to get rid of that, and we'll take a look at those toys in just a minute. Let's spin around and look at the front of the house. Alright, and here we go. Basically, what you're looking at there, if my hand would stop screwing up the focus, is the original cabin, and this is basically just a 3-car carport. It used to be a single one. You can see the original pitch on the roof came over to about here, but my grandfather wanted enough to keep both of his cars and have a spare for, well, there's the toy, one of them anyway. The other one's hiding over there. Roof on the main house was done a couple of years ago. I had 3 huge trees removed from the back. We'll take a look at that. You're probably going to get a little key in on that, and I'll focus on that in a minute. That's going to get removed eventually. You know, some excess vegetation here as well that's got to go. And if we look over here, something my grandfather did when he bought the place is he literally trenched out a section of the bank here. I have my own private boat launch. We'll take a walk down that in a bit too. A lot of work I did under here. There's a lot of stuff to get rid of, and I still have work to do. This is one of the outdoor projects for next spring. As well, as you can see, it needs painting and it needs a few shingles here and there. So that's all next year, next spring. It'll live another winter without getting done. It's all inside work over the winter until we can get things moving here. So let me pause and let's take a look inside the carport at the toys. All right, under the carport, obviously I got the Jeep. The second car spot is occupied by my new toy, and this was my grandfather's replacement for his gas-powered golf cart, which died about 5 or 6 years ago. He went ape crazy with this. This is a 2014 Polaris Ranger, 800 HD, fuel injected for all intents and purposes. It's like a little car. It really is. It's got everything you could want except for turn signals and a radio. I'm keeping this. I love this. I take it out once a week. I was nervous. It hadn't been driven in about a year. I threw a new battery in it, fired right up, and I love it. Take a look at me blasting around the lake with it right now. All right, we got the girl fired up. Like I said, I take her out once a week just to keep her running good. It's typically at the end of the week, my last thing I do after working all weekend so I can have some fun, but since it's going to rain tomorrow, we're going to have fun right now. Oh, I love that thing. And it's going to be fun on the lake in the winter too. Once it freezes up a little better. It's starting to freeze up now. Let me turn the brightness down a hair. The other stuff in the carport I have yet to go through. He's got a rototiller for the garden, old push mower. That's a leaf vacuum. I will eventually resurrect that. It's covered with junk. I threw a lot of stuff out, and I've been dragging even more stuff out of the house since I've been cleaning that out, so that's why the carport looks cluttered as hell. And then behind the Ranger is a riding mower that I have to resurrect as well. I haven't done anything with that yet. But that's it for underneath the carport. Let's take a look at the next gizmo. And this was my grandfather's other toy. This is a, I'm not sure what year it is. I'd have to look it up on the serial number. I think it's in the 80s. A Kubota B7100D four-wheel drive, little yard tractor, very cool. He's got a bucket, and this is basically for snow removal. He's even got a, I forget what that's called, 3-point on there as well. Got all the gizmos on it and everything else. Cool little toy. I will probably use it to get rid of a lot of that briars and prickers up there. That all needs to come out, and I'm probably just going to use the bucket and I'm going to strip it down. I'd run it for you, but I'm actually doing an oil change on it right now. I don't know when it's done last. It looks hideous. And with winter coming, I'm going to be using it to do snow removal here on the property. Not a ton of it, but something fun to do. So, and anytime this thing gives me trouble, I'll probably get rid of it because it's not practical. I'd rather replace it with a good snow thrower, to be honest. But to get some of the yard work I got to get done on the property and pick up some of the junk out in the other end of the yard, I will keep this for a while just because it's cool and it's currently not a problem. I had to drain out the old diesel fuel and purge out the fuel lines as well and bleed everything out and get it running again. I did that successfully, no air in the system, and she runs. We'll take a look at that in this little video clip. So that's about it for the front yard. Like I said, there's not a ton to do out here. I'm gonna pick away at this as long as winter holds out. I've got a lot of leaves to remove up there. If there's anybody who wants to help me do some leaf removal, I know there's at least one guy watching this video who does it professionally. Come on over and help, but that's some of that not gonna make it. I'm cleaning the yard out best I can, but I'm trying to split my time between the inside of the house, which needs priority, and fiddling with this for the half an hour or an hour I have before sunset when I get sick of working inside. So let's take a look at the other end of the house, and what we're going to do is start where my last video, number 71, started, and we'll take a look at the big change I already had done up there. Alright, so I have moved around toward the lake side of the house, and this is where I started my last video, sitting pretty much by this door in this corner, and it probably looked a little different. It was a little shadier. And that's for a good reason. There was 3 big trees. The wind comes out of the west, which is right off the lake, and there was 3 very large trees that were making trouble for the house. And they were widow makers. I didn't want them coming down anytime in the future. Let's spin around real quick since it's windy today and take a look at my challenges on the lake side of the house. Alright, I apologize for the wind. It's really windy, but I got no choice. It's December 23rd and I'm running out of video outside with comfortable weather, so this is the lake side of the house. This is a side that used to overlook the lake, and we'll take a look at that in a second because that ain't right. But this is what I wanted removed. I cannot do the size of that any justice. It's about a 65-year-old pine tree. It was huge. It's had a partner in crime down there and a couple as well. And over around the corner of the house was a gigantic oak which hung over the house. I wanted all three of those out of there. What's left up there are the neighbors, and that's fine. They won't do me too much trouble. But that was part of the Lakeview issue, and I still have some smaller trees I elected to remove myself. I had to pay to have these taken out, obviously. That wasn't cheap. These I'm going to take out over the winter, and then I will have my complete Lakeview back. And that's the way it should have been. For some reason, my grandfather didn't appreciate the Lakeview as much as we did. And we'll take another look at the reason why this is the challenge side of the house. And that's the side of the house that overlooks the lake. It doesn't really overlook the lake. The only two windows you can see are these tiny little portholes that he installed. This used to be the front porch that overlooked the entire lake. My grandfather elected to box this thing in. That's the side door that used to get you on the porch. And he turned it into a bedroom, and with no view of the lake, which doesn't make sense at all. So that's the big challenge for next year, is when I get the inside of the house done, is to have this wall torn out and have some bigger windows put in so that I can enjoy my view of the lake again. Let's take a look at the boat launch and then let's wander inside. So we took a quick look at this in an earlier clip when I was out in front of the yard. We're gonna actually walk down here now. This bank section was all one. This never used to be divided, but my grandfather cut this trench out because he needed some fill for other parts of the house. And it's very windy. And essentially what we wound up with is our own private boat launch. And there's nothing in there as far as stone or anything goes. That goes right from grass right into the water. I'll do something with that someday, I'm sure, but that's great. That's literally your own private boat launch, which not many people have on this lake. Very cool. It's cold. It's 2 days before Christmas. Let's get inside and take a look at the inside of the house. All right, and we're gonna enter into the kitchen off the outside patio area. And this is where you guys may want to put your kids in the other room, because this kitchen hasn't seen anything done to it in a very long time. And this is the first thing that's getting done as far as the house renovation before I move in. So let me turn the camera around and we can stare at the horrors. All right, so this is what we're going to see more of as we wander around the house. This is the original cabin. For some reason, my grandfather never did anything to the place, like I said. And this is one of the things that need doing. Now, what this stuff is like Luan. It's a very thin wood paneling, and it's got these decorative strips up here, and you'll see why I've been painting for so long. Obviously, we got some problems over there. These cabinets I actually installed for my grandfather because there was old steel ones here ages ago. Nothing matches over here. You got some wood cabinets there. A lower cabinet down there. This is literally a steel sink. I suppose if you're into making your own chum for ocean fishing, somebody's going to want that, but not me. And the gas stove is still good. We're going to keep that. Basically what's going to happen is that is a pots and pans cabinet. And like I said, these cabins, everything's built into them as far as the cabinetry. There's nothing that's, real. It's all homemade. So that's actually going to get knocked out in the corner. We're going to move some electrical around. Stove's getting slid over. There's going to be more of a L-shaped countertop that's going to come out and stop right here at the bathroom door. And we're going to have a Lazy Susan cabinet down here. There's going to be more traditional cabinets down here and some drawers between the bigger area between the stove and the sink, so I can get a little prep area for cooking. And then up above here, we're going to have some cabinetry, some narrow ones here, and a little something there. Over in the corner, dishwasher's coming out, dryer gets slid over. The refrigerator is going to get tucked into that corner over there, and then we're going to get some new cabinets put up there. And there's going to be a small set of drawers right here between where the dryer is going to be and where the refrigerator is going against that wall. And that'll leave me some more open space in the kitchen center. And then I'll have, obviously, the table here. So this is all getting ripped out and sheetrocked. We were going to hold off, but there's no choice in doing it. So everything you see in here, all these dirty old walls, everything here and all that, that's all the same style wood paneling that's holding this whole place together. And we're going to look at more of that in just a minute. So next time you see this, it's going to be an all new kitchen before and after shot. All right, 1 week later, and they've got everything off the walls in here. I'm stunned. It's time to start rebuilding this place. This is actually going to be the last clip for the kitchen we're going to look at in this video. Let's flip the camera around and take a look at what remains. So that's where the corner cabinet was, all gone. Stove was there. That steel country style sink is gone. That was there. As well, they got all the rest of the stuff out of the corner. That's where the L-shaped countertop's going to go. I'll have the Lazy Susan cabinet there, overhead cabinets there, a little overhead cabinetry there. Dryer, like I said, gets moved back over here, and you can see how they kind of expanded on this place a little bit over the years. A change of wood. Fridge goes over here in the corner. A few more cabinets up top here next to the fridge, and a little countertop space right between the dryer and the fridge, and that's it. I am a happy camper. Roof still gets addressed, or I'm sorry, ceiling gets addressed, and they'll put some recessed lighting up there, I think. That's not a lot of headspace for me in here. So next video, you'll have to wait to see what the kitchen looks like getting reassembled. Alright, so transitioning out of the kitchen of horrors, we're going to come into the living room of horrors, which actually isn't too bad. The news on what I'm doing for renovation in here wasn't as bad as I thought. What we're looking at here is kind of a narrow living room area. It's not very big. I do have a wood stove. It still needs to get inspected. It hasn't been used in years. I'm not sure how many years, 3, 5. I've got to get the chimney inspected before I run it. I don't think I'll do that this year, unfortunately. By the time I get moved in, it's going to be mid to late January, and I'm not going to be worried about that. What I'm actually doing today is finishing up painting the living room area, the 2 smaller bedrooms, focus, and what back there was my grandfather's bedroom. Now, same thing, 50s cabin, never touched. All the walls are this thin Luan stuff with these wood strips to cover the seams, and this was a painting nightmare. The walls haven't been painted, ceilings haven't been painted in forever, so 3 coats, 2 weeks of cutting and rolling, 4 rooms. And same thing, I started with the walls. It's not the prettiest color, but it was bare marquee, a 5-gallon pail that was on discount. Like I said, I'm tearing this down. I'm painting it just to tear it down next year, but I need something that doesn't look like this just to live in for now. Future plans, if we look down, you can see this hideous, disgusting linoleum that's older than me most likely. Surprise underneath it, some good wood flooring that will get sanded. When these walls come down, the electrical work gets done, same thing with ceiling, and everything comes down and gets gutted out of this place. This is coming up and getting sanded and finished, and I'm going to have nice flooring again. So that was some good news. Same thing, this support here, this is one of the load-bearing walls in the house. Behind it's good traditional studding, even though there's this garbage over it. So that's good. Good sheetrock to attach to. The only mystery will be up here to see what we attach sheetrock to, and we'll do some insulation. So behind me is actually the wall that faces the lake. So we come back in here, same thing. We're coming through this opening that used to be the original door to the house. You can see my grandfather, for 60 years of living here, never even took those out. It was the original latches from the front porch, and that's what I'm on now, which has been turned into like a skinny little bedroom. And that's the wall that faces the lake. This wall is going to get torn out a bit, and we're going to get some windows put in. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a center window and one down on each side. But what this is eventually going to become is part of the L-shaped living room. And there's the door from the outside that we saw at the beginning of the video. This will be a big L-shaped living area. This part's going to be my main living room. And this L-shape will kind of transition off to like a little den area that's going to overlook the lake. And I can hang out here during the summer with the door open. Enjoy my days after a year or something of working hard. And then these 2 side bedrooms, these little visitor bedrooms, which basically box off the square of the house, off the L, that's the living room and the bedroom. That central wall there is going to get knocked out between the two bedrooms. One of these doors is going to get closed up, and that's going to become a gigantic master bedroom with a huge closet at the end, because this place doesn't have any closets in it either. More stuff to do. So that's the tour of the interior. Now we're going to do a finger snap, and we're going to take a look at what it looks like all painted up, because this is week 5 and I am done painting. I can get onto some outdoor projects. So before and boom. Just like that, through the magic of video editing, there's all the interior done up. That's 1 room, 2 rooms, the back bedroom, and the living room, all 4 done. So 5 weekends of painting, and that's all I'm going to do. I had thought about doing this trim in a second color, like a lighter tan, but I'm just tearing all this stuff out of here in less than a year, so it doesn't make sense to do that. Here's the back living area, or I'm sorry, the back bedroom, which used to be the front porch, which will be the view of the lake again. Some view. So, and I got furniture I got to sort out. That piece in the corner right there I'm keeping. That's a nice curio cabinet. That's where a lot of my relics are actually going to go on the displays. I'm going to light it up and use it. Antique gun cabinet with a mirror. I haven't figured out what I want to do with that yet. It was my grandfather, so it's going to probably stay. And a bunch of this other stuff's going to go. So that's this part of the project done. Let's take a walk around the property and see what's next. And what's up next is the end of the video. I'm going to cut this one off here. I've seen plenty of progress. You got an idea what's going on in my life right now. A lot of work. It's the last weekend of 2018, so Happy New Year to everybody. This video is probably going to drop shortly thereafter, if not right around New Year's Day. And we'll get more videos out of what's going on here. Obviously, we're going to get the kitchen put back together and get some other goodies. I am moving in literally in about 3 more weeks, so a lot more work to do. Thanks for watching this one, guys. A little different than my usual videos. We'll see you soon on another one.